Post-COVID, the gaming industry has been looking pretty different. During the pandemic, time spent gaming and mobile revenues were pretty high. But since then, the level of playtime is getting back to pre-pandemic levels and global gaming revenue shrunk. It's not all bad news though. Sure, the industry is looking pretty different, but these changes are introducing some pretty awesome gaming trends that we believe are getting the industry back on track. Here are 5 of the biggest trends we're watching. First, there's AI. While AI is to blame for some of the recent layoffs across studios, it can also be used for good to enhance human output rather than replace it, like letting studios tackle larger projects. Generative AI tools are letting developers create and launch assets at scale. Take Revolution Software, for example. When they wanted to launch another installment of their Broken Sword series, they were facing a huge problem: how to recreate the game's original artwork. It was all handmade, and the idea of trying to draw 30,000 sprites again by hand was out of the question in terms of both timeline and resources. So what did Revolution Software do? They teamed up with AI researchers and NVIDIA engineers to create a Gen AI model that could design a simple game asset in minutes. Then, their team of artists manually applied finishing touches. AI can also be used to improve non-player characters, or NPCs. These characters are essential in some games. They move the narrative forward and keep users immersed in gameplay. But they can have notoriously silly, weird, or unnatural dialogue. Enter tools that use AI to make NPCs more authentic and dynamic, like NVIDIA's Avatar Cloud engine for games, which lets studios create NPCs with personalities that adapt over time. Generally, AI tools can be used to speed up development and spot areas for improvement. Hexworks proved this when they used AI while building their game, Lords of the Fallen. They use the technology to offer suggestions on technical details like texture size, handle mundane tasks like localization, and generate initial voices for the characters during prototyping. The team always applied a human touch in the end, but they harnessed AI to speed up every part of the developer cycle so they could iterate, test, and design more quickly and cost efficiently. So AI is the first gaming trend. The second, the rise of hybrid casual games. The IDFA used to help mobile advertisers target and acquire high-value users. Mid-core and hyper-casual games especially relied on this. Mid-core games for the ability to reach their niche, high-LTV audience, and hyper-casual games for targeting their few but important high-LTV users that made up their extremely broad, high-churn model. When Apple eliminated the IDFA in 2021, these genres were hit hardest, and the solution? A move to the middle. These types of games appeal to the broad audience of a hyper-casual game, but had the higher quality graphics, strategic gameplay, and IAP monetization model of mid-core games. And they've been on the rise. Hybrid casual games experienced a 30% revenue increase in 2023. The third gaming trend? Web shops. The end of the IDFA didn't just lead to a new game genre. It also meant developers needed a new way to reach their target users and generate revenue. A direct-to-consumer channel like a web shop is one of the best ways to boost revenue, retention, and engagement, and give UA a boost. Why? This direct channel bypasses the 30% commission fees of platforms like Apple and Google. That means bigger margins and more budget to put towards higher bids in UA campaigns. Web shops also give developers greater flexibility and control over their offers, including dynamic pricing and loyalty programs. This, along with the ability to incorporate non-commerce content like web series and lore, increases player engagement and retention, all while increasing their spend and LTV. It's no surprise that studios have already been jumping on this gaming trend. Moon Active, Scopely, Niantic, Activision, Zynga, and Playtika are just a few of the industry players that launch web shops for their games. Let's get into gaming trend number 4. The antitrust regulations and lawsuits taking over the globe. Outside the US, groundbreaking legislation like the Digital Markets Act in the EU, Digital Markets Competition and Consumers Bill in the UK, and Japan's pro-competition bill have all put the spotlight on major platforms like Apple and Google. These laws are claiming that Apple and Google are putting unfair restrictions on developers that prevent competition, like anti-steering rules. And with the threat of major fines looming, these platforms are changing their policies and opening up their ecosystems to let developers promote and offer first-party payments and channels. Inside the US, the same trend is happening. Cases like Epic v. Apple, Epic v. Google, and the DOJ lawsuit have all put Apple and Google on the stand for their anti-competitive practices. Though we're probably not going to see final verdicts on all of these for a while, initial rulings have criticized the platforms and shown that they expect Apple and Google to allow for alternative app distribution and payment systems. The last trend we're going over today is about cross-progression and cross-platform gaming. They're not new concepts in gaming, but they're particularly popular right now. Why? There are more gamers on mobile than ever before, and the PC and console markets are still growing. With so many gamers across devices, studios are keeping up by offering their titles on more devices and giving players the ability to pick up play wherever they left off on any device. For example, PlayStation is launching titles like Helldivers 2 and God of War on PC, and Xbox is making their titles PC compatible with their Xbox Play Anywhere program. Then there are games like Baldur's Gate 3 and Omega Strikers that enable crossplay. All players need to do is log in with their player ID or platform login. If you're ready to get on these gaming trends, Stash has you covered. We know a thing or two about launching direct-to-consumer channels like web shops and game launchers. Talk to us today about launching your own D2C channel and maximizing your revenue, retention, and engagement.